Miami, South Beach, bringing the heat, Can y'all feel that? Can y'all feel that? Jig it out, Here I am in the place where I come let go. In Miami, the bass and the sunset low. Every day like a Mardi Gras. Everybody party all day, no work, all play, okay? So we sip a little something, leave the rest to spill. Me and Charlie at the bar running up a high bill. Nothing less than ill when we dress to kill. Every time the ladies pass, they be like, can y'all feel me? All ages and races, real sweet faces. Every different nation, Spanish, Haitian, Indian, Jamaican, black, white, Cuban, or Asian. I only came for 2 days of playing, but every time I come I always wind up staying. This the type of town I can spend a few days in. Miami, the city that keeps the roof blazing.
Party in the city where the heat is on, all night on the beach till the break of dawn.
Welcome to Miami, bienvenido a Miami.
Bouncing in the club where the heat is on, all night on the beach till the break of dawn.
I'm going to Miami.
Welcome to Miami.
What's up, guys? Hope you liked that intro again. We're here with the UFC 299 picks for Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera 2. We're going through the full card and I'll give my prediction and breakdown for every single matchup on this stacked lineup. It's a sick card and I'm looking forward to it. And there's some tough picks. There's a lot of close odds. There's no real massive favourites, no one that like everyone's super confident in, so it'll be an interesting week for picks, and I could do really well and I could do really shit, so we'll see what happens. But let's get into it with the prelims. First fight, Myra Moroz versus Joanne Wood. I'm taking Moroz by submission. She already fought her back in the day. She won by submission, and I haven't seen anything crazy from Wood to say that the fight's going to go any differently. I reckon she'll get subbed in the third round. I don't know, who cares? It's women's MMA. The next fight, CJ Vergara versus Asu Elmabayev. Elmabayev's a wide favourite, probably for good reason. I think he's going to get it done. Also by submission. He beat O'Day Osborne in his debut. CJ Vergara is one of the 5 opponents to beat Daniel Lacerda, and out of all 5 of them, he probably did it the least convincingly. He was almost out of there in the first round, so it's not a good look. Even his last fight, which he won against Vinicius Salvador, not a great fighter. So yeah, Elmabayev should get it done with the wrestling, with the grappling by submission. Rebellis Despain is going to KO Fat Man Parisian in round 1. Look, with this fight, it's not really about predictions because everyone's picking Despain unless you're retarded. It's more about who can get closest to the time it's going to take him to knock him out. So we'll go over under 30 seconds. I'm taking the under. I can Despain by like head kick or like left hook KO within like 15 seconds is my prediction. Michelle Pereira versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I'm taking Pereira by round 2 TKO. Oleksiejczuk's actually a solid fighter. His last fight against Chidi and Njokuani, maybe fought after that, but I think that was his last fight. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that fight, he got rocked pretty bad and was hurt by Chidi in the first round and then actually came back to win. I forget what round he won in. Might have been the first, but he was in a lot of trouble and then he came back, turned it around. But I do think Michelle Pereira should get it done. Macy Barber versus Caitlin Chookagian. That is on the prelims, but I'm not doing a full fucking breakdown for that. I reckon Barber will win. The judges always give her decisions when she shouldn't get them, so even if she doesn't really win this fight, I reckon she'll get it on the scorecards. I think she's just younger, better than Chookagian, a bit more dangerous all round, I guess. And then Ion Cutelaba versus Felipe Lins. I'm taking Cutelaba by KO. In the first rounds, just because, even though sometimes he is shit and he does just get chinned randomly, Felipe Lins is not a guy that's just chinning people left and right. So I reckon Cutelaba should just come out like a bat out of hell and get it done. But let's move on to the more important fights. Kyler Phillips versus Pedro Munhoz. I'm going to take Kyler Phillips by decision. I'm not confident though. These odds are way too wide. I was really thinking of picking Munhoz, and before this I was looking at the fight, I was thinking about the fight, and I'm like, I reckon Munhoz gets it done, I reckon he outpoints him, just wins, I don't know, uses the leg kicks, all that kind of stuff, and then I looked at the odds, and I saw minus 250 for Kyler Phillips, and I'm like, have I just, not been paying attention to Kyler Phillips? So I went back, I rewatched the Barcelos fight, he looked alright. Barcelos is a crafty vet. The Julian Paiva fight was not encouraging, because even though he smoked him in the first, he lost the last 2. He got a win over Song Yadong though, so when this guy's on, I do think he has the capability to be better and more dangerous than Pedro Munhoz across 3 rounds. So Even though I don't love his cardio, even though I don't think he's a crazy good fighter, Pedro Munhoz, he's going to be at a 7-inch reach disadvantage. He's 37 years old, getting up there. Took a bit of damage against Cheeto in his last fight, but I don't know. I just don't think he's got that. I doubt he'd have that hunger looking at himself as a top contender now. He's lost like half of his last fights. But they are only to good opposition, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't mind the idea of a Pedro Munhoz underdog, but I took Munhoz as an underdog last time he fought against Cheeto, and it didn't go too well. So I don't know, I'll just trust Phillips, I guess, even though I don't think he's all that good. But I'm kind of being swayed by the odds here. Honestly, if I'd seen these odds and they were like minus 120 Phillips, plus 100 Munhoz, I'd be like, alright, I'll take Munhoz, sick. But it's like these odds are like telling me that my pick of Munhoz would be dumb, so I'm just going to take Phillips. We move on though to the next fight. Rafael dos Anjos versus Mateusz Gamrot. I'm taking Gamrot to get the win by decision. Look, the odds are also wide for this one, but I can see it. Look, RDA, last fight against Luque, just got grappled a whole bunch. I know Gamrot's not going to be as big or as strong as Luque, but I do think his technical grappling is probably better. He's pushes a pace a whole lot. Like this guy against Jalen Turner just kept spamming takedowns because he had nothing on the feet. So yeah, RDA, I guess you could crack him with something, I guess, but I'm just going to take the logical prediction. I'm going to take the guy that actually is committed to a division. I don't know, RDA just seems like he's kind of just fighting just for the sake of fighting. Like, he seems like he previously wasn't going to fight at lightweight. I feel like maybe they're like, all right, here you go, have a top 10 guy. And he's like, alright, sure, I'll fight at lightweight. But I just don't think he's in it too much anymore. Gamrot, he's a hungry man. He shoots a whole bunch of takedowns and he gets a lot of them. So I reckon he should get this one done by decision 30-27. But we move on to the next fight. Curtis Blaydes versus Jailton Almeida. Well, Blaydes, let me just get this started with my prediction. Blaydes is retarded. That's how he talks. So yeah, Curtis Blaydes, I don't trust him to win. I'm picking Jailton Almeida by submission just because I don't trust Blaydes. He's dumb as hell. He fights the worst way possible. Like, he gets a knockout and then he goes and tries to strike with Pavlovich, right? And then he gets knocked out and then he tries to grapple at all costs. So he just got knocked out. He's going to try and grapple. That's my read on the fight, you know. Anytime this guy looks good on the feet, you know, beats, what's his name? Fucking, white boy. Christakis, the policeman. Yeah, he beat Christakis and then immediately by KO, and immediately he's like, yeah, I must strike in my next fight. Obviously, the Aspinall fight was a kind of like intermediate there, but then he fucking fights Pavlovich and tries to stand with him and just gets KO'd. So he's going to go back to his roots. He's going to wrestle, and I think Almeida's just going to fuck him up in the grappling. He's quicker. I think he might actually no. Blaydes is probably stronger, but Almeida's got more like explosivity, more pop. Probably got better cardio, I would say. And even the Derek Lewis fight, I know people kind of shit on him for it. I did too, but I don't know. I just feel like that's not super indicative of how he's going to do against Blaydes. Because even Blaydes on the feet, he's slow, he's plotty. Almeida, I could see working some hands. We haven't really seen him strike, so maybe he's secretly a fucking elite striker. And he's just waiting to unleash a fucking right hook on someone. But yeah, Blaydes is going to be dumb and shoot takedowns or something and get like guillotined. I could see that. But even if Almeida wrestles, if he gets Blaydes down once, these fat heavyweights don't know how to get off their back. Blaydes has never really been taken down from memory, so if he does get taken down, I do think he'll be in trouble. Almeida should work the grappling well, pass guard, and just sub him, I reckon. Round 2 submission is my official call, rear naked choke. So yeah, Almeida should get this one done. We move on to the next fight. Peter Yan versus Song Yadong. This one is interesting, and I've got a fair bit to say, so I'm probably going to waffle for a while on this fight. But I'm taking Song Yadong by decision is my call. Let me get that out of the way. So, my read on the fight is Peter Yan, technical striking, great. I do think he's probably a better technical striker than Song Yadong. Like, you look at this guy's fights, apart from the Marab fight, he never really like flat out just loses. Like, O'Malley outpointed him a little bit. He used the range a lot. Even I thought Yan could have won that. Aljo got taken down. That's how he lost that fight. But before that, yeah, like he's got crazy good wins. He looked sick against Corey Sandhagen. He looked great against all these guys. But I don't know, Song Yadong, man, I just think he's up and coming. He's younger. He's improving rapidly each fight. I don't think Yan is just on that upwards spiral. He seems to be more on the downwards, like not quite spiral, but like he's slowly walking down. Like I don't know, he hasn't fallen out the plane and he's just dropping through the air. Like he's taken the elevator ride down. He's slowly getting bit lower. I don't know. He just doesn't seem to quite have, like, he doesn't put the combinations together as well as he used to. Like, in that Corey Sandhagen fight, that was a masterpiece of striking, and we just haven't seen him really do that. Like, against O'Malley, obviously he had some great moments on the feet, but I think those are guys that, like, yeah, I'm going to technically strike with you. I'm going to go tit for tat. We're going to have a real, like, striking range battle. We're going to trade punches. Like, I don't think that's what Song Yadong's going to do. If I look at his fights, I see this guy that's just explosive. He's going for big shots. He's got power. He's putting people away. And he also can shoot takedowns. And in a 3-rounder, let me reiterate, 3-rounder, in a 5-rounder, I'm taking Peter Yan by decision. But 3 rounds, Song's cardio hasn't worried me ever. I haven't seen him gas out. Peter Yan, obviously neither. I do think they can both go 3 rounds hard. But Song's last fight against Gutierrez, he wrestled a bunch. Gutierrez is a tricky fighter on the feet to get past. Like, he's not crazy good in terms of his skill on the feet, but he's just a guy that Gutierrez in that fight was trying to fucking keep range the whole time. So I don't think that means too much. And he just wrestled him. He took him down a whole bunch. The fight before, Ricky Simone, Simone had the threat of the takedown. Song worked a great game, really didn't get hit clean too much and just kept cracking him. He's got a bunch of power. He's KO'd No Chin Moraes. That's nothing crazy. But first 2 rounds against Corey Sandhagen, he won the first 2 against Corey. He did get cut open, but he rocked Corey bad. Like, the only other guy really to rock Corey is Peter Yan in their fight. So I think that shows something. I do think Song's going to be making more vast improvements. And Peter Yan, let me just say this. So first round, I think Yan he's a slow starter. That's another reason. In a 3-rounder, when Yan almost just doesn't even work at 100% to win a round, like, he's kind of just chilling and then just forgets, it's like, hang on, I need to now win the next 2. So I think Song's going to win the first round just by landing a few bigger shots. Just visual appeal. The judges are going to see Song just swinging a bit harder and Yan's just not landing a whole bunch. That, I think, is going to work for Song. Then second round, Yan's going to be like, oh, fuck, I've fallen into this trap again. I've got to come out there and swing a little bit. So I think he's going to open up and I can see Song cracking him with a few shots, maybe dropping him to a knee. Obviously, we haven't really seen Peter Yan get rocked badly. O'Malley did kind of hurt him, and I could see Song Yadong also hurting him. I don't see Song Yadong finishing him, let me just say that. But if he knocks him down in the second, like, bang, loses that, then I think he is going to come on in the third, win that round. But I don't know, I just reckon Song's going to get it done. I could see a split decision. Yan holds a high guard, so I can see, like, body kicks, leg kicks, body shots as well. Song has good rips to the body. I don't know. I think these guys are a bit of a mirror matchup, to be honest, in terms of Song also fights with a pretty high guard. But I think early, the power, the explosiveness is just going to do a bit better in terms of the scorecards. Even if he's not landing clean, I do think the judges are going to just see how Song Yadong's fighting, and that's going to be more appealing to them. So he snags the first round, wins a close second. Maybe he hurts Yan at one point. I think he could just, like, have him against the cage, just punching him a whole bunch, and that could just look bad for the judges because Yan's trying to be too defensive at points. Song Yadong, I can see him mixing in the takedowns. Let me just say this. Song is a fucking really strong guy for bantamweight. Like, I saw something the other day. He's the biggest, like, he was the biggest guy on Fight Night. Like, I think he's got the heaviest recorded weight on Fight Night of any bantamweight. He was like 167. This guy's 30 pounds above what he weighs in at on Fight Night. He's a big guy, strong guy, muscular guy. Sounds like I'm just glazing the hell out of him right now. And look, let me just say this. Peter Yan could totally fucking win this. He could just outclass and school Song Yadong for 3 rounds. That could happen, but I don't know. I just think Song's awkwardness, striking, power, grappling, mix it in. If you look at Peter Yan's fight against Merab, obviously I'm not saying Song Yadong is as good of a grappler as Merab or that's going to push that kind of pace, but Merab had a lot of success even on this, like, on the feet in the stand-up, just from kind of crowding Yan and moving forward a whole bunch. I could see Song doing that, just maybe not fear the power of Yan too much. Song's got a good chin. He really doesn't get rocked that much ever. So I could see him just kind of really trying to crowd Yan and pressure forward, not give him space, not give him time. Because I know Yan, his technical striking is still elite. It's still amazing. But I think a bunch of guys have just been watching Peter Yan fight and seen, like, we can kind of crowd this guy. We can overwhelm him. We can, like, make him, like, crowd him up, not give him space to throw the shots. Because if you give Yan time to set up the punches, like, if Song comes out here and tries to sit on the outside with Yan and just have a tit-for-tat battle, I do think he'll lose that. But if he does put the pressure on him, if he does, like, let punches go, let punches fly, I could see him hurting Yan, I could see him just giving him trouble, and overall just looking good for the judges and winning a decision. So I reckon Song's going to win. If Peter Yan wins, I wouldn't be upset, I wouldn't be surprised, but that's just my prediction. Yeah, unanimous decision or split for Song Yadong. We move on to the next fight. Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. This is another one that I'm very interested in, and I was leaning Gilbert Burns to begin with when this fight got announced. I was like, Jack Della's too dumb in the grappling. He leaves himself on bottom. His takedown defense isn't that good. And I stand by that. I don't think his grappling is crazy good. And I do think that if Gilbert Burns does push a heavy grappling pace, I could definitely see him getting this one done and just kind of grinding out a boring decision on the ground. But I think it's going to stay on the feet. I think Gilbert's going to be a bit too tentative to shoot straight away. He's going to kind of want to feel himself out, get back in there. He's been out the cage for a while. He's going to want to just chill on the feet, try and get his timing down. And I think in that time, Jack's just going to find his range. He's going to be putting the jab out there, probably not with too much power. I don't see him throwing any big power shots for the first couple minutes, but then he's going to be just kind of putting that jab out there, holding it out there as like a range finder. And then he's just going to really start pumping it down the middle and just start landing it well on Burns. We know Burns has a weakness to jabs, or we've seen it. Usman put him down a bunch of times. Hamzat put him down with a jab. This guy does get hurt a bit by jabs, and he is susceptible to straight punches down the middle. Like, even Bilal was landing. I know he was injured in that fight, but Bilal was landing on this guy. I don't know who else he's fought recently, but yeah, Hamzat, Usman, Bilal, those are the guys. And obviously Wonderboy had success on the feet, but that was mostly grappling from Burns. But Burns is susceptible to straight punches. His defense ain't the best, and even when he throws offense, he throws a bunch of big looping punches. He throws big overhands. He throws hooks. He does have a decent jab himself, but overall, when I see Burns strike, I just see him way more open. I can see Jack going to the body, maybe throwing some leg kicks in there too. But let me say again, if Burns does shoot, I can see him having a bunch of success. That is something I see him doing well with in this fight. If he does grapple Jack, if you fucking shoot a guillotine, I'm smashing my TV, mate. But yeah, I don't know. Jack, he's a way better striker. I think he's got the best boxing in the division, to be honest. He's got power. Burns is not the most durable guy. He's getting up there in age as well. He's like 36, 37. Been out of the cage since last May. Coming off an injury as well, so I don't think he's going to be super strong in the grappling. Maybe he re-injures that during the fight if he tries to grapple heavy. I don't know, something about it. I just don't think this is going to go well for my boy Gilbert. Even though I like the guy, I just think Jack gets it done. I think round one, he's hurting him with jabs. Burns' nose is going to be bleeding. He's going to be busted up, cut open maybe, hurt to the body, just kind of wearing it against the cage. Jack's going to be kind of putting it to him in that first round. I think he could put him down at the end of the first, really stick a jab or put a cross down the pipe as well. If Burns leaves himself open, throws a big punch and then gets countered, I could see that happening. I think he survives the first, then second round, Jack's back on the jab. Burns is hurt, his defense isn't good, tries to shoot a takedown, gets stuffed off because it's shot from ages away, and then Jack just keeps getting on that jab, puts the two together, lands some combos, gets Burns down, puts him away with ground and pound. So I'm going Jack Della Maddalena by TKO in the second. Jabs, crosses, just punches overall. I think he's just going to catch him with a big shot, put the punches together like he did against Ramazan Ameev, like he did against or like Poirier did against Conor, that kind of thing. Just cracks him once, hurts him, and then just puts him away against the cage. So Della by TKO, and it'll be tough for my boy Gil. But hope he has at least success and doesn't get smoked. But we move on to the next fight. Evan Holland versus Michael Venom Page. This one, again, interesting. I've been going back and forth, and I almost convinced myself to pick MVP and just say, go with the storyline. He's making his debut. He's going to have a big win. He's going to have a great performance. He's going to look cool. He's going to do all his flashy stuff. But I don't know. I just don't think it's going to happen. Kevin Holland got a reach advantage in this fight, so I don't think MVP is just going to be able to fucking sit on the outside and just throw all his stuff that he normally does. Again, the guys that he fucking fights in Bellator, I swear to God, they're cans. I don't think... He's got, a few good opponents. He's got, three. Three of his wins are against, really good guys. Striking-wise, obviously, he's probably fought some good grapplers and he just KOs them straight away, but I don't know, striking-wise, I think he's just a budget fucking wonderboy. He's just a black wonderboy. I don't know. I just don't think he's... he's really good, obviously. His technical striking is crazy, but I think it's one of those cases where it's fucking easy to look good against cans. I think it's really easy. If you're one of these guys, you can have there's two different like styles of fighters when they're going up the ranks. There's some guys that are just soundly beating everyone, 30-27 decision, maybe a submission in there. They're just beating everyone. They don't look crazy impressive. They're like a minus 150 in all of their fights. They're just chilling. They don't look crazy good. And then before you know it, they're in the top 5 and you're like, oh, this guy's actually fucking good. And then there's the guys that just starch and run through everyone and look like world beaters. And then they get to the top and they actually fight good competition. And it's just weird because they can't do the shit that they normally do. Because the guys that beat everyone soundly, they just, have a pretty average performance, but they just get the win. Those are the ones, they're usually more well-rounded. They've got more refined games. They've adapted to different styles. But these guys that just beat up a bunch of cans, and I know guys like O'Malley and stuff, he beat up a bunch of cans and then bang, he beat PDR, and that's fair enough. Maybe MVP goes in there and smokes Holland, but I don't know, Bellator fighters, it's not even about like UFC cans. These are Bellator cans. These are guys that I don't think are all that good. And even not with cans, even some Bellator fucking fighters, like top guys, champions even, like that Yaroslav Amosov guy, everyone's saying he's going to fucking would be like a top 5 UFC welterweight, loses to Jason Jackson. Fucking Johnny Eblen, everyone's saying he's gonna beat like Dricus or Strickland, almost loses to fucking Impa Kasanganai, the Joaquin Buckley victim. So I don't know, I just don't think, and obviously MVP hasn't fought those guys, but the guys that he has fought, I just don't think they're all that good. Like, he got a fucking leg kick KO in his last fight just because the guy's kneecap fucking exploded or something. Like, he's got power, he's got great striking, but I just don't think he's going to be able to land against Holland. He's not just going to be able to just throw out all his stuff and just, yep, cool, I'm fucking hitting this guy, I'm shooting him up. It's not going to happen. I don't see him catching him with his big KO shots, like his highlight reels when he does the fucking spinning kick and the guy just stands there against the cage with his hands down waiting to get kicked in the head, or when the guy dives in for a fucking takedown and just gets flying kneed. I just don't see Holland doing that. He's got a massive, he doesn't have a massive reach because MVP's also got a big reach, but he's still going to have the reach advantage. I think he keeps MVP on the end of the punches a couple times. MVP's going to be landing some shots, going to be kicking the legs, doing some blitzing punches and stuff. Holland is durable, so I don't see MVP just putting out Holland. And also MVP's not a guy that just like flatlines heaps of people with punches, if you know what I mean. Like, he does have KOs, but he doesn't have like flatline one-punch KOs against really good level guys with punches. So I don't think he's just going to be able to tune up and land on Holland whenever he wants. I think Holland's got power too. MVP, like, he's not chinny, but I don't think he's got the best chin. He's 36, 37 years old. Don't know how old he is. He's 36, 37. Coming into UFC late. Hasn't fought in a hot minute either. I think it's like he hasn't fought since like March. Holland's been active. I know, another thing that does worry me about Holland is that sometimes this guy just doesn't care about winning. He just decides to half-ass the fight and not give a fuck. But this seems like one of the ones where he's going to want to come on and put a statement performance on. Last time he was in Miami, got a KO win over Santiago Ponzinibbio. And again, Holland's a weird one because he doesn't look good in a bunch of his fights. Like Ponzinibbio, he didn't look crazy good early. Jack Della didn't look crazy good. But he gave Wonderboy problems. He cracked Wonderboy. Wonderboy's a durable guy as well, to be honest. So I could see him hurting MVP. I could just see Holland winning a decision as well. Close fight. Like, again, this is a close fight. But if Holland mixes in the grappling, I see him having success. Because MVP gets held down by pretty mid fighters on the ground. And I don't know. I think MVP just going to have a rude awakening. He's going to be like, fuck, this ain't Bellator cans that I can flying knee and throw Pokemon balls at. Is actually good fighters. I know Holland's not the top of the top at welterweight, but I reckon he'll have a show-out performance for this one, and I reckon he'll halt the train and he'll stop the hype of MVP, and everyone's going to hang. It's going to be another one of those ones where, like, people say that these Bellator fighters are the fucking best thing to ever exist, and then they would beat UFC champions, and then the next thing you know, they lose to some fucking former UFC fighter. So, like, let's pump the brakes. Maybe he smokes up Holland, but I think he's just going to... I don't think his style's super good for a high pace for a long time. I don't think he'll be able to go 15 minutes. Holland's gone past 15 with Wonderboy. Obviously, he was getting beaten up late in that fight, but I do think Wonderboy's just a way better striker than MVP. So yeah, I don't know. Holland's a slight favourite, but it seems like a bunch of people are picking Page, but I'm taking Holland I'll go by knockout as my... That's, I guess you could say, my risky prop of the night, I guess. The hot take of the night. Holland is going to KO MVP in the second with a right hand. Kind of like what he did against Buckley, if you remember that fight. And MVP's going to kind of blitz in, come out, is going to be on the outside. As he moves back, Holland throws the right, and normally he would be out of range because normally he's not going to be fighting someone with an 81-inch reach, and then Holland's just going to catch him, put him down, finish him off. That's my prediction. This could age terribly, but that's what I'm going with. We move on to the next fight. Austin Poirier versus Munhoz St. Denis. I'm taking BSD by submission in round 2. And, I know a lot of people are clowning on Lucas Tracy because the glazing is kind of crazy, I'll be real. For him to say Poirier's got no chance is a bit iffy. I won't go that far, but I do think he's going to run through Poirier in the grappling and make it look pretty easy once it hits the ground. So, if we're talking about this fight as in, like, stand-up, this is a good stand-up battle. If we're talking about this fight on the feet, like, the boxing, it's fucking pretty clear. Unless you're Lucas Tracy, probably thinks BSD would beat Mayweather in a boxing fight. It's pretty clear that Poirier's got the better boxing. Like, he's fucking been around for ages. His defense is solid. He's got great hands. He puts combos together really well. And, I'm going to be doing an in-depth breakdown of this fight using fight footage and shit, but 2 fights I'm looking at is, like, obviously, Poirier versus, like, McGregor, Poirier versus Chandler, these kind of fights, Poirier versus Gaethje in the first fight, like, he puts combos together really well, and BSD does leave himself open to be hit, and if he does get cracked, by Poirier and just not fully recover. I don't see him getting put down or put fully out, like, unconscious, but once you get, like, rocked by Poirier, he never really, like, puts you out cold with one punch. He kind of just gets you rocked, and then once you're rocked, he's just on you and you just can't recover. So that is a worry. If he does catch Munhoz really badly, put him down or wobble him, and then he just gets on him, he can definitely finish him. I could see that happening. But Munhoz's chin is a lot better than Chandler's. It's better than Gaethje's, in my opinion. Maybe a hot take. I don't know. I don't think Gaethje's got this granite chin. It's better than McGregor's, pretty obviously. Like, I think he's got probably the best chin, maybe apart from Khabib, out of anyone that Poirier's fought. And I just don't see Poirier really just getting the combos together well, because normally when he does that, it's like he's on the front foot, he catches you with a shot, and then you're rocked, and he presses you up against the cage and just tunes you up. But like, that's exactly what happened with fucking Conor. That's happened with Chandler at the end of the first. So that is, like, normally when Poirier has his success with the boxing. But BSD's always on the pressure. So I don't see him giving Poirier space to really, like, time his shots and get the punches going really well. So, again, I reiterate, boxing match, obviously Poirier tunes him up. But BSD mixing in the kicks, I think he can go to the leg really well. Poirier has been leg kicked a bunch. Gaethje had a lot of success with the low kicks. What else? Chandler even spammed a bunch of body kicks against him. Chandler looked good with those kicks to the body. Even Chandler, that's the main fight I'm looking at, because in my opinion, BSD is actually better than Chandler. I think technically, striking-wise, he's better. Maybe just pure punching power is the only thing Chandler has, and then maybe just physical strength. But even that, I think BSD's a fucking strong guy. But pressure him with the kicks, I think he just kind of runs at him early. Poirier's like, what the fuck? I'm not used to this. Because normally when Poirier fights, it's in high stakes, like top contender fights, title fights. Like, there's a feeling out process. You're chilling. You don't want to go balls to the wall and try and gas yourself out. Like, he's probably used to a bit of a feeling out process. I don't think he's going to get that. I think fucking BSD is just running at this man and just swinging straight away, and he's could just clip him early with Poirier not expecting it. He's just trying to find his range, style his hair, pull up his shorts, and then bang, he's just got cracked with a shot. I don't see BSD putting away Poirier on the feet. I just want to say that again as well. But I think that pressure is going to lead to Poirier not being as good on the feet. He's going to be kind of like, what the fuck, guard up a lot. Because, again, in that Chandler fight with Poirier, when he did guard up, Chandler he didn't even land clean on his head. He just punched him in the guard a whole bunch and just kind of was rocking Poirier. And so I think BSD can do a similar thing. Kicks to the body, kicks to the head, low kicks as well. Big thing here. BSD is southpaw. That's something that Poirier does normally do better against southpaws. He does find the punches better when his opponent's southpaw. So I'm going to talk about all this in more detail for my breakdown. But grappling-wise is where I do think BSD is going to get this one done. Because Poirier I don't think his takedown defense is all that good. Like, Chandler kind of mogged him in the grappling. He took him down in the first round after rocking him, and then he even took him down in the second round after getting beaten the fuck out of. He looked gassed. He was all beaten up, and then early in the second, just takes Poirier down, holds him there, beats him up for the rest of the round. was close to getting a choke at one point, took his back. Poirier turns to his knees to give up his back. That's another thing I'm going to look at in my in-depth breakdown. BSD takes the back really well. He's got good double legs. He's got good single legs. He's got good trips against the cage. So even if he just connects in the clinch to Poirier, trip him out, or shoot a takedown, then run around to the back straight away. That's something he did against Munhoz in their fight. He shot a takedown, and then Munhoz was trying to sprawl, and then he almost just went straight around back to the feet instead of trying to like finish the takedown. So straight around to the back instead of trying to just drive through. That's something I could see him doing, taking the back of Poirier. We know Poirier does get his back taken a whole bunch. Oliveira did it, subbed him. Khabib did it, subbed him. Chandler did it, didn't sub him, but he had him pretty close at one point. And then even the third round against Chandler, he got taken down again. Obviously, Chandler, being a retard, overextended massively and got himself reversed and subbed. Obviously, Poirier's grappling not bad, but defensively, I don't think he's all there on the ground. Oliveira held him there and beat him up for the whole second round. Khabib held him there a whole bunch. Again, Chandler held him there. I just don't see him getting back up too easily. I don't see a guy that he's fought with really good grappling, strong guy with good top control, that he's able to just get back up with and make them work super hard. Like BSD against Munhoz, against Bonfim, those are the two guys we've really seen him push the grappling with that are somewhat relevant to this fight. In terms of, I guess, their stature, maybe. What's his name? Bonfim's a pretty compact guy. He's a lot smaller than Bunnar, but Munhoz as well took him. Munhoz is arguably a better grappler than Poirier. I'm just going to say that. Munhoz's submission ability, at least that is something. I don't think Poirier's fucking throwing up triangles and arm bars off his back, or going for sweeps and shit. At least Munhoz is a guy that he goes for knee bars, he goes for these submissions, he puts you in trouble, and he makes you not super comfortable on the ground, and you can't just sit there and do whatever you want. So that is something I do see working against Poirier. His guard isn't crazy good, and sometimes he just almost sits in guard, like against Oliveira. He didn't even try and get back up because he didn't want to give up his back. But against Chandler, he did try and get back up, and he did give up his back in the process. BSD is going to take that back all day long. I think first round gets him down, beats him up a whole bunch, just takes the wind out of Poirier, really makes him just consider what the fuck he's doing there. Poirier's going to be really hesitant on the feet, fearing the takedown. I do think that's going to be a thing. And that's going to open up shots on the feet. He could hurt Poirier, but I think once he hurts him, he's not going to try and... Maybe he goes for the finish. Maybe finishes Poirier on the feet with a big shot, like a head kick or something like that. Could happen, I do see that. Maybe being a possibility. But ultimately, I think he hurts him a couple times. Using the fear of the takedown, maybe feints a shot, gets around, just pressures him up against the fence, gets him down again in the second, just beats him up. Poirier is just like, fuck this. I can't stay here. I just got to go for it, explode back up. I think he's going to try, give up his back. BSD's taking the back, choking him out. Poirier's going to tap like chicken. And I think he actually might retire. I think this could be the last fight for Poirier if it goes the way I'm predicting. But yeah, BSD, round 2 submission, rear naked choke is my prediction. Long-winded one on that, and I'm going to be going into even more detail because I got a lot to say about the fight. It's not just me going, oh, BSD's beat a whole bunch of, like, he KO'd his last fight, Poirier's older. Like, I actually do think stylistically this is just a fight that favours BSD, to be honest, if it goes to the ground. Obviously, standing-wise, it's close-ish, but even standing-wise, again, BSD can have success with that pressure style, and he's fucking hits hard too. So yeah, BSD submission round 2. We move on to the main event. Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chito Vera. Adam 22 versus the cartel leader. I'm taking Adam 22 to get it done by decision, and I think he's going to beat up Chito Vera, if I'm being honest. I think he's going to really smoke him and school him, and turn him into a punching bag, if I'm being honest. Maybe I'm exaggerating this too much, because I could see him just doing the Adesanya, doing the leg kicks at range, just outpointing him, but I think he might actually really put the punches together and like beat up Chito Vera. So, if I'm looking at this fight, they've fought already. Like, let's be honest, Chito got the win technically, but you could tell pretty clearly from that fight, better technical striker is clearly O'Malley. We know that anyway, even if that fight didn't happen. O'Malley's the better technical striker. He was finding his range really well. He was landing good shots. Chito, power. He's got power. He's got the leg kicks, which can cause O'Malley problems. And one of my key things in terms of not being overly confident in O'Malley's ability to go hard 5 rounds, go a hard 5, is just the fact that he is a little bit brittle. Like, he injured himself against Chito. He injured himself against, Sukumtat or whatever his name was. He did his leg real bad. Like, his legs, if he's kicking a whole bunch, I don't know if his fucking bones hold up the whole time. So that could be a worry. And then I don't know, O'Malley just doesn't seem like a guy who's like really, really good at just biting down on the mouthpiece and fighting through a tough injury, fighting through a broken foot. Like, I just don't see him doing that. So, Cheeto, if that happens, I could really see the adversity getting to him and he's like, fuck, and then he just kind of quits. Well, not quits, but he just like forgets to throw and just loses his skill. And Cheeto just finishes him. That is a possibility. But if I'm going to assume that he doesn't just get injured and he does go 5 without getting compromised from something that isn't just Cheeto Vera knocking him out, I do think he just wins. Because Cheeto, man, look, his defense is actually solid. Like, it's not like he's just a Max Holloway or a Marvin Vettori that just gets punched in the face literally every time and just eats all of it. Like, look, he does eat punches for dinner. But, like, Font was landing a bunch on him. But he does also, like, he does defend some shots. Like, Munhoz wasn't landing super clean on him. Font was actually landing a lot, but Font just doesn't have heaps of power, and Cheeto doesn't show damage. So O'Malley, if he does get deterred, if he does just throw a whole lot and just is just tuning up Cheeto Vera for 3 rounds, and he's like, why the fuck is this guy not away? Why is this guy not cut open? Why is this guy not bruised? I've been punching him in the face 50 times around. I could see him really just being like, fucking hell, and then just slows down, gets in his own head, and maybe gets finished. But if I'm assuming that he sticks to the game plan, he fights at his best the whole time, doesn't get in his own head, I think he's just going to tune up Cheeto Vera. First couple, I think he's going to be a bit more cautious. He's going to be a bit, maybe it's the opposite though. Maybe the first 2, he's just tuning up Cheeto, because Cheeto Vera is a slow starter. He does kind of just walk forward a little bit. He's pretty plotty. He's not a super lateral movement kind of guy. Like, he doesn't move around the cage, or he's not light on his feet. So O'Malley kicking the legs, kicking the body, just going straight punches down the middle. I could see that working for him. But once he finds his range, because that's the issue I have for Cheeto here, is because he's a slow starter, and 2, he's a slow starter that doesn't like have all that much urgency to defend shots. Like, even against Dom Cruz, he was down 2, he won the 3rd, but like, he just seems like he's kind of chill. He's in like 2nd gear at all times. And I think O'Malley's a guy that once he starts to find his range, once he puts the combos together, he has a much easier time landing. Like, against Peter Yan earlier in the fight, he wasn't having a heap of success. Like, he was doing all right. First round, he just didn't land anything crazy. But then, like, second, he did have that big shot that rocked Yan. Then he lost the rest of that round. But third round, like, stuff like the knees that he was landing, the 1-2s, the high kicks. Like, when he really just finds his range and he knows when and where he can hit you, like, he knows you're going to be there, he can just throw punches and they're going to fucking land. He's got a long reach. And he's so much quicker than Cheeto, in my opinion. You look at the Cheeto fight with Corey Sandhagen, obviously he did get taken down a whole bunch, but even on the feet, Corey just way more finesse, way quicker, was pretty much like, it's like he throws a 1-2 and then Cheeto like reacts once the fucking 2s hit him in the face, does the defensive action once he's already been hit, and then maybe throws like a leg kick and it's like, oh fuck, and then he has to just get back to his little plotty style. Like, he gets hit and then he kind of shakes his head a little bit, resets, and just keeps walking forward. It's like, I don't know, Cheeto, man. He just, even like Frankie Edgar was having success with him a bunch. Like, a lot of these fights, like Rob Font was winning on the feet until he just kept getting dropped each round. So I don't see him. O'Malley's actually got a pretty good chin. Obviously, if Cheeto lands clean on him, I do think he does put him away. But Cheeto hasn't really been landing super clean on a bunch of guys. Like, he's usually getting it done with stuff like kicks, like up kick or like front kick up the middle against Edgar and the high kick against Cruz. Those are his 2 finishes. Apart from that, Font somehow made it the whole 5. But even all those times when he was getting rocked, a lot of those were like kicks to the head, like that side kick that he busted up his eye with. That is like, though, I just don't see him landing that shit against O'Malley, because O'Malley's fucking moving around the cage. He's swinging around. He's like running around the octagon in fucking circles. Like, he throws a jab at you, he throws a fucking 2, he throws a 1-2, he throws a leg kick, high kick, he's thrown 17 punches, you throw 1 leg kick back, and then before you know it, he's on the opposite side of the octagon, and he's just back to punching you. Like, his range management is crazy good, his speed is crazy good, and I do think, if you look at, like, I'm not going to fucking compare Chris Matinho to Marlon Vera, but if you look at that fight, it's like, Matinho's a durable guy. Matinho's a guy that, you know, didn't really have a bunch of, like, he's got a puncher's chance. He can just swing, but apart from that, he's not got a whole lot to do. Cheeto Vera, he's a durable guy. He gets hit a bunch, and you know what I mean? It's And this is why I don't think O'Malley's going to gas. And this is why when I say that he's going to win by 50-44 or 50-43 decision, and a lot of you guys are going to call me retarded for that take, obviously that assumes he does really want to put the output on him. He could just point fest him. But if he does try and put the output on him, I think he succeeds, because I just don't see Chito Vera defending punches a whole lot and defending leg kicks and checking kicks and doing all this stuff. Like, Dominic Cruz was doing his little bouncy movement, doing his little pitter-pat shots, and he was landing on Chito. Obviously, he's got no power, but O'Malley's got the sting on the end of the shots. He's got the speed. So I think he's going to have a lot of success here. I think he could even fucking shoot a takedown. I don't know. I don't think Chito's going to take him down, even though that's probably the only chance he has to really, like, force his game, because unless he just runs at O'Malley and just tries to knock him out early and just expend his energy and try and KO Sean, and just beat him up real bad early, that's like the only other way I could see him having success. But even that, O'Malley's pretty fucking defensively responsible. Like, his slip counters are great. He moves off the center line. He's not there when you're throwing just straight, slow. Like, Chito, I'm not saying he's slow, but he's fucking slower than O'Malley. So I don't think Chito's going to be able to land on him clean. And I think O'Malley's going to have a statement performance, not knock him out. I think Chito's too durable to get KO'd, but I think he's just going to beat him up, and we're going to see Chito at the end of the fight, for some reason, probably look like he's just walked outside and just woken up. He probably might have like a little cut, couple bruises here and there, but that's not going to tell the story of the fight. I think he's going to get beaten up real bad. I think he's going to get rocked on a couple of occasions, but he's just going to stay in there. And O'Malley's going to win by decision 50-44, 50-44, 50-43 on one scorecard, as he gets those middle, like that third and fourth. I think those are going to be those potential 10-8 rounds when he's kind of finding his range. And then Chito starts trying to build into it and starts trying to open up a bit more. And that even leaves more openings for O'Malley on the feet. So, long-winded breakdown there. I don't know if I really got my point across. I think I did. I'll do a breakdown, detailed breakdown for this one too, probably, if I have time. But BSD versus Poirier is the first one I want to do. So, I'll get to all the other ones if I got time. But that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Those are my predictions. You can see them on the screen there. Like the video. Otherwise, Shamil Gaziev, that's your cardio level. Subscribe, all that. Otherwise, Despain's going to head kick you. Fucking hell. I can't be fucked with these jokes anymore. I don't know. I'll see you guys in the next one. This is a fucking long video. I've just been sitting on my fucking couch recording this for a hot minute. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know who you guys are picking in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.